I got a call from her at 3:30 in the morning the night that he had died.
Now, wait a minute. You mean June 4th?
I believe that's when it was. At 3:30 in the morning, she called me hysterical that Travis was dead, and I asked what happened, and she was very vague about that, and I said, "Are you okay?" She said yes, and I said, "Where are you?" And she said, "Northern California." And I said, "Do you need a ride or do you need anything?" She said, "No, I'm going to rent a car." So I told a friend of mine about it the next day. Well, then a few weeks later, she got arrested. And when she got arrested, I called the DA's office and said, "I have some information that you may need to know," because at that time she hadn't confessed yet. So either it would give her an alibi of where she was, or it would put her at the scene by just checking where the cell phone came from.
Now, do you realize that what you are telling us right now could be critical testimony for the prosecution in this case? Because we don't know of anyone that she absolutely spoke to the night of June 4th, because this was when she stabbed Travis Alexander late that afternoon, 29 times altogether, almost decapitated him and shot him in the head. So you believe it was the night of June 4th, early morning hours of June 5th, I guess you're saying.
Yeah, the phone records would check that. They can check the phone records. That's why I called the DA.
Why did she say she was crying? Why did she say she was so upset?
Well, because she said he was dead. I knew she was crazy about him.
She said he was dead?
She said he was dead. She said, "Travis is dead." And she was hysterical. And that's why when I found out she got arrested, I called the DA's office, because I figured they could check the phone records. They don't need me.
Did she say how he had died? Did she go into detail?
I didn't ask.
You didn't ask her?
Well, I asked her what happened. She said she didn't know. That's what she said. She said, "I don't know." So that's why I said I had information that could help or hurt. You know, this is more about the truth than anything specific. There's, you know, as the public, if we have information, it's our objective to bring it to the court, let the court decide what to do with it. So when I called the DA, and I'm, accused of being in the limelight or limelighter, but 5 years ago there was no limelight. I didn't know there was going to be any television, and they didn't even need me. They could just check the phone records. And that's what I called, but he never called me back.
Now, you also testified in court about a time that Jody went to your motor home in Las Vegas. And
Right.
I want to show everybody that testimony, and then I want to hear if there's anything else you couldn't testify to on that. Let's watch this.
During this phone call we were speaking about, did Miss Arias identify who she was speaking to?
Yes.
And whom was that?
Travis.
Travis Alexander?
Travis Alexander. Once it got heated, she excused herself, stepped outside. She talked to him for about a half an hour outside, and when she came back in, she was shaking and crying.
Okay. Had you seen her act like that before in any of your prior interactions with her?
No.
Okay, so she comes to your motor home in Las Vegas, and this is shortly before she moves back to Northern California.
Right.
Why did she want to come?
Well, what happened was she had called me earlier that day, crying, very upset. Her and Travis had gotten in a fight. He had threatened her. She was scared. She didn't say how she was threatened. She just said she had been threatened and she was scared. She didn't know what to do. And I said, "Look, I'm only an hour and a half away. Why don't you just come to Las Vegas, let cool things down. You can stay with me in the motorhome for a couple days." So,
Were you giving a presentation for prepaid legal that weekend?
yes, I was in Las Vegas for the local briefing. It wasn't a national convention. It was just the local marketplace.
She testified to that yesterday. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
So she
I hadn't
comes.
seen.
She comes into your motorhome.
Comes to the motorhome, and at one point she gets, she's sitting a little bit farther away than you and I are right now, and she gets a phone call from Travis.
How did you know it was Travis?
Well, A, it showed up on the phone, and B, she looked at me and went, "It's Travis." And then Travis is on the phone, and you can hear his voice because, again, we're close and it's a very quiet motorhome. And she wants to try to get off the phone with him, and he yells at her like, "Damn it, Jody." And it's like she ducked a bullet. I mean, she winced and she like ducked. Then she looked at me, kind of got this an embarrassed look, and then that's when she went outside to carry on the conversation. And then when she came back in, she was crying and shaking, and then, not use the bathroom.
Now, what was she, when she came back in, was she literally shaking?
Yeah, she was shaking. I mean, she was visibly shaking.
Like a chihuahua? She testified to that yesterday, that she would shake like a chihuahua.
Well, I was still under subpoena, so I didn't see any of that. But no, she was visibly shaking.